All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is Saira Mustafa. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate 1.75 lakh houses built under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin in Madhya Pradesh today. National Testing Agency announces results of Jee Main in a record time of just 4 days. Jammu and Kashmir government announces universal health insurance scheme of all residents of Union Territory. Maharashtra government issues guidelines for hotels to resume operations at full capacity. India and US review progress in bilateral ties in defense, security and foreign policy areas. And in tennis, Alexander Zverev of Germany enters the US Open men's singles final. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate 1.75 lakh houses built under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin PMAYG in Madhya Pradesh today. All these houses have been built or completed during the challenging COVID-19 period. Mr. Modi will also participate in Griha Pravesham, a ceremony considered auspicious for a family's entry into its new house. The event will be done through video conference and State's Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan will also attend the ceremony. As part of the Modi government's Housing for All by 2022, 1.14 crore houses have been built across the country so far. In Madhya Pradesh, 17 lakh poor households have benefited from the scheme till now. Under PMAYG, each beneficiary is given a 100% grant of 1.20 lakh rupees with a sharing ratio of 60:40 between the centre and the state concerned. The scheme envisages construction of 2.95 crore houses by the year 2022. More from a correspondent.
All of these houses have been built and completed during the current challenging COVID-19 pandemic period. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan said that today will be the beginning of a new life for these families. The program will begin at 11 a.m. Panchayat representatives and villagers will also take part in this Griha Pravesh program, taking precautions to prevent corona infection. 17 lakh poor households have benefited from Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin till now in Madhya Pradesh. The scheme has provisions for convergence with other schemes of central and state government for providing LPG connection, electricity and safe drinking water. Madhya Pradesh government through its Samradh Paryavas Abhiyan has included 17 other schemes like Social Security, Pension Scheme, Ration Card, Prime Minister Kausal Vikas Yojana, National Rural Livelihood Mission to provide additional benefits to these people. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has asserted that the National Education Policy 2020 aims to fulfill the aspirations, expectations and requirements of New India. The Prime Minister said that it will give a new direction to the India of the 21st century. Mr. Modi was addressing the National Conclave on School Education in the 21st century.
नई राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति भी नए भारत की नई उम्मीदों की नई आवश्यकताओं की पूर्ति का एक सशक्त माध्यम है। इसके पीछे पिछले 4-5 वर्षों की कड़ी मेहनत है। हर क्षेत्र, हर विद्या, हर भाषा के लोगों ने इस पर दिन रात काम किया है, लेकिन ये काम अभी पूरा नहीं हुआ है। एक प्रकार से कहे तो ये काम की असली शुरुआत हुई है। अब हमें राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति को उतने ही प्रभावी तरीके से लागू करना है और ये काम हम सब मिलकर करेंगे।
Mr. Modi stressed on the importance of advancing the students with the 21st century skills, listing them out as critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, curiosity and communication. He said students should learn coding from the beginning, understand artificial intelligence, join Internet of Things, cloud computing, data science and robotics. He said the earlier education policy was restrictive, but in the real world, all subjects are related to each other. The Prime Minister also said that the National Education Policy addresses another big issue, mark-sheet-driven education, dominating in place of learning-driven education in a country. He said a new National Assessment Centre, PARAK, will also be established for the overall improvement of the evaluation system.
The National Testing Agency (NTA) has announced the results of JEE Main in a record time of just 4 days. The test, which is the qualifying exam for appearing for the JEE Advanced, was held in 10 shifts from 2nd to 6th of September this year. 24 candidates scored 100 percentile in the joint entrance examination main, and the largest number of toppers are from the state of Telangana. Among the remaining toppers, 5 are from Delhi, 4 from Rajasthan, 3 from Andhra Pradesh, 2 from Haryana, and 1 each from Gujarat and Maharashtra. JEE Main was postponed twice due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The examination was conducted without any glitch in 660 centres in 232 cities, including 8 outside the country. Since 2019, the test is being conducted twice a year. The first cycle of the entrance test this year was held in January. Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha has announced a scheme to provide universal health insurance to all residents of the Union Territory. The scheme will provide health insurance cover free of cost to all residents and shall include the serving and retired employees and their families as well. A report.
Addressing the first press conference in Srinagar yesterday after taking over as the Lieutenant Governor of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Manoj Sinha announced the approval of unique health insurance scheme to provide universal health insurance coverage to all the residents of Jammu and Kashmir. The scheme will provide health insurance cover free of cost to all the uncovered residents of Jammu and Kashmir presently not covered under Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. The scheme would also include even employees and retirees from government service of Jammu and Kashmir and their families. It will have the same benefits as available under Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana with an annual health insurance cover of Rs 5 lakh per family on floater basis. The scheme will cover about 15 lakh families over and above 5,97,000 families already covered under Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. This is Sunil Kohl for AR News from Srinagar.
Government today said that the active cases of COVID-19 in the country is less than 1/4 of the total cases, which is around 10,50,000. Health Ministry in a tweet said the gap between recovered cases and active cases is progressively growing wide. More than 36 lakh COVID patients have recovered and discharged. The ministry said centre-led COVID management strategies are focused on early detection through widespread, easy and aggressive testing, standardized quality and effective treatment in hospitals and supervised home isolation and reducing mortality. A total of 4,266 new confirmed cases of coronavirus have been reported in Delhi during the past 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to over 2,09,000. Delhi government has said that over 1,78,000 people affected with coronavirus have been cured so far. In the last 24 hours, 2,754 people recovered and 21 deaths were reported in the national capital, taking the toll to 4,687. Presently, the total number of active corona cases in the national capital is 26,907.
Maharashtra government has released standard operating procedures and guidelines for hotels, lodges and resorts, enabling them to resume operations with 100% capacity. Barring containment zones, hotels, resorts, homestays, farm stays, etc. in the rest of the state will be allowed to operate. More from our correspondent.
As per the guidelines for hospitality industry, all travelers will be screened and only asymptomatic tourists will be permitted to stay. People who don't have prior bookings or reservations and have flu-like symptoms will not be permitted. Mandatory practices like wearing masks, social distancing and use of hand sanitizers must be followed at all times. Apart from this, consent should be taken from guests for sharing their details with local administration and health authorities as and when required. Payment through digital mode should be encouraged and a form should be shared with guests prior to check-in, preferably via email or WhatsApp, to get information about their travel, health history and current status. Apart from this, hotels and resorts have been asked to prepare a list of do's and don'ts for guests and room service should be contactless. Madhuri Pange, AIR News, Mumbai.
The Home Minister Amit Shah e-dedicated and e-launched development projects worth 221 crore rupees in Ahmedabad district last evening. Speaking on the occasion, he said that electricity consumption, industrial production, exports and startup statistics show that Gujarat is in the forefront in returning to normalcy during the Unlock 4. Addressing the event through video conferencing, Chief Minister Vijay Rupani expressed happiness that even during the difficult times of the corona pandemic, Gujarat has continued its upward surge of developmental works. The development works include 240 housing units under Bawala Nagarpalika under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana at the cost of 17 crore rupees.
In Chhattisgarh, Health Department has directed the private hospitals, nursing homes and doctors monitoring patients in home isolation to provide information about the patients and about the period of home isolation to chief medical and health officers of respective districts. According to the Health Department, it has been noticed that some private hospitals and doctors are not compiling and providing information about the patient's daily records, including the home isolation period. Meanwhile, the death toll due to COVID-19 crossed 500 mark in the state, with 25 new fatalities reported yesterday. 2,438 new coronavirus cases were also witnessed in the last 24 hours, pushing the case load to 58,643. According to the State Health Department, 27,123 people have been discharged after recovery. In Bihar, COVID-19 recovery rate is improved to 89.72% in the state. 2,187 patients recovered in the last 24 hours. 1,39,458 patients have recovered from the infection in the state so far. 15,189 patients are undergoing treatment in various hospitals at present. Positive cases amounted to 1,55,445. Fatalities due to corona has gone up to 797. The total number of testings has crossed 46,67,000 in the state.
In Tamil Nadu, the active COVID caseload has witnessed a marginal decline, which now stands at nearly 48,000. The total infections have crossed 4.91 lakhs, while the recoveries have zoomed past 4.35 lakhs. Meanwhile, public transport in Chennai is witnessing a steady growth since its relaunch. A report.
Bus transport within the districts in Tamil Nadu, including in Chennai, began on the 1st of this month, while the inter-district travel was started on the 7th. Initially, the public were seemingly wary of travel after so many days of lockdown. However, the footfall is showing signs of increasing patronage with every passing day. The data released by the state-run Chennai Metropolitan Transport Corporation shows 6 lakh travelers used its services on the first day, which has now gone up to an average of 10 lakh a day. 2,400 buses are back on their wheels. Similar is the case with the long-distance bus operations, as the e-pass system has been dispensed with, except for the hill resort towns. However, most of the private players are seemingly in a wait-and-watch mode for the time being, as they are yet to ply their buses. Jee Main, AAR News, Chennai.
Odisha has recorded the highest ever single-day recovery of 4,061 yesterday. With this, the total number of persons recovered from the infection so far has gone up to 1,12,062. On the other hand, with 3,996 fresh cases reported yesterday, the total caseload in the state has gone up to 1,43,117. More from our correspondent.
Even as the villainous virus continues to bump into more and more people in turn are found preferring home isolation over the institutional one. With about 50% of the active cases in home quarantine, the state government has come out with a fresh set of guidelines for home isolation. According to the directives issued to the district authorities, both for the asymptomatic and symptomatic cases, the period of isolation would be 10 days, though with some riders. For the asymptomatic, the 10 days isolation begins from the day his or her swab test positive and ends after the 10 days period. For the symptomatic ones, the period begins from the onset of symptoms and ends after 10 days, provided there is no fever for 3 days. Girish Chandra Das, Bhubaneswar.
Gujarat government has ordered the oxygen producing units to give first priority to medical oxygen supply. According to public notification issued yesterday, the oxygen producing units can supply only 50% oxygen for industrial use. More from a correspondent.
According to notification, the first priority has to be given to medical oxygen during the urgency. Breach of this notification will invite 6 months imprisonment and fine under Section 188 of IPC. Commissioner of Food and Drug Control Administration, Dr. H.G. Kosia said that present utilization of medical oxygen in Gujarat is around 250 tons. The demand of medical oxygen is increasing following the coronavirus pandemic. The producers have been asked to produce oxygen at full capacity. Urgency of medical oxygen supply came into light when Ahmedabad-based one private hospital had shifted 8 COVID-19 patients to the government hospital on Thursday evening due to non-availability of medical oxygen. Yogesh Pandya, Air News, Ahmedabad.
Serum Institute of India (SII) has put on hold trials of potential COVID-19 vaccine produced by British pharmaceutical company AstraZeneca following a notice issued by the Drugs Controller General of India (DCGI). The trials will be restarted once the British drug maker restarts them. DCGI VG Somani has asked SII about the details of the suspension of COVID-19 trials overseas after reports of unexplained illness in a study participant forced AstraZeneca to pause trials of its experimental coronavirus vaccine. She asked for an explanation from SII as to why the trials should not be suspended in India until and unless patient safety is established.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate 1.75 lakh houses built under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin in Madhya Pradesh today. National Testing Agency announces results of JEE Main in a record time of just 4 days. Jammu and Kashmir government announces universal health insurance scheme for all residents of Union Territory. Maharashtra government issues guidelines for hotels to resume operations at full capacity. India and US review progress in bilateral ties in defense, security and foreign policy areas. And in tennis, Alexander Zverev of Germany enters the US Open men's singles final. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
In a series Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you the views of the leading medical experts on COVID-19. Talking to AIR News, Director at AIIMS in Delhi, Dr. Randeep Guleria, advised the people to aggressively follow the social distancing and hand hygiene norms to check the spread of COVID-19 infection. Dr. Anand Mohan, Head of Pulmonary Medicine AIIMS, advised people to not take medicine like hydroxychloroquine or anti-malarial without a prescription by a doctor. The inter-island helicopter services in Andaman and Nicobar will resume from the 14th of this month. Details from our correspondent.
The inter-island heli services in Andaman and Nicobar are going to start again from 14 September. The heli services connecting all major places like Campbell Bay, Chaura, Teresa, Hut Bay, Diglipur in Nicobar and North Middle Andaman district will now be available twice in a week. While for Car Nicobar and Mayabandar, heli services will be available 4 days in a week. However, all the passengers going to tribal district Nicobar will have to undergo RT-PCR test before commencing their journey. While for North and Middle Andaman, the rapid antigen test has been made mandatory. Only those who found negative will be allowed to go. Passengers need to pay a sum of ₹500 for the test. No fees will be collected from government employees on duty and medical patients. Earlier, the inter-island heli services have been suspended to contain the spread of coronavirus, but with restarting of these services, the patients, students and government employees from remotely located islands will definitely be benefited. Gaurav Patwal, AIR News, Port Blair.
80 new special passenger trains will be operational from today across the country. These will be fully reserved trains. Booking for these trains had already started from the 10th of this month. Railway Ministry said these trains will be in addition to the existing 30 special Rajdhani type trains and 200 special Mail Express trains. Earlier, Railway Board Chairman Vinod Kumar Yadav had said that the railway is keeping a close watch over the demand and waiting lists in various areas of the country. He said more trains will be made operational in due course of time if needed.
All the lines of the Delhi Metro are now open from today. In a tweet, Delhi Metro Rail Corporation (DMRC) said the metro service is available from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. on all lines. It said with the resumption of service on the Airport Express line today, all lines of the Delhi Metro network are now open. DMRC has requested passengers to follow the guidelines during travelling. Delhi Metro resumed its services from the 7th of this month in a calibrated manner after being shut for more than 5 months due to the coronavirus pandemic. In our series on Gandhi and philosophy, today we bring you a report on how Mahatma Gandhi fought against caste restrictions. Mahatma Gandhi throughout his life spoke against caste restrictions and he built ashrams where no caste restrictions were observed. Gandhiji had said that the removal of untouchability is one of the highest expressions of ahimsa. Our correspondent has filed this report.
In his autobiography, My Experiments with Truth, Mahatma Gandhi has written that over the last 3 generations, starting with his grandfather, his family had not pursued their traditional duty as per the caste system. Through his zeal, Gandhiji learned many activities prohibited for his caste, such as work of sewage, a barber, a washerman, a cobbler, and a tailor. Gandhiji made his family and associates break taboos and engage in labor that was considered very polluting. The father of the nation had said that he do not believe in caste in the modern sense. He had said assumption of superiority by any person over any other is a sin against God and men. With Devendra Kumar, Anupam Mishra, AI News, Delhi.
India and the United States held a bilateral 2+2 inter-session meeting at the official level in virtual mode yesterday. Both sides reviewed the progress and developments in bilateral ties in defense, security and foreign policy areas since the last 2+2 ministerial meeting held on the 18th of December last year in Washington, D.C. They explored opportunities for enhancing ongoing cooperation in these fields based on mutual interest. They also exchanged views about regional developments and agreed to pursue the quest for a free, open, inclusive, peaceful and prosperous Indo-Pacific. Indian delegation was led jointly by Joint Secretary, Americas in the Ministry of External Affairs, Vani Rao, and Joint Secretary International Cooperation in the Ministry of Defense, Somnath Ghosh. The U.S. delegation was led jointly by Senior Bureau Official of Bureau of South and Central Asian Affairs in the U.S. Department of State, Dean Thompson, and Acting Assistant Secretary for the Indo-Pacific Security Affairs in the U.S. Department of Defense, David Helvey. The intersessional meeting mechanism was set up pursuant to the 2+2 ministerial. The two sides agreed to continue the discussions in future. U.S. President Donald Trump led the nation in mourning victims of the 9/11 terrorist attack with a moment of silence along with First Lady Melania on Air Force One. He delivered remarks at the memorial site near Shanksville in Pennsylvania. Vice President Mike Pence and Democratic presidential candidate and former Vice President Joe Biden crossed paths at the 9/11 memorial site in New York. On this day in 2011, Al-Qaeda terrorists killed nearly 3,000 people in the worst ever terrorist attacks in recent memory.
Germany's Alexander Zverev has broken through to his first Grand Slam final, dismissing Pablo Carreño Busta 3-6, 2-6, 6-3, 6-4, 6-3 to advance to the championship round of the 2020 US Open. This was the first time in his career that Zverev has fought back from 2 sets down to win a match. With the win, Zverev puts his name in the record books as the first German Grand Slam men's singles finalist since Reina Schwedler at the 2003 Australian Open, as well as the youngest Grand Slam finalist since Novak Djokovic, 23, at the 2010 US Open. In women's singles of the tournament, Belarusian Victoria Azarenka will face Japan's Naomi Osaka in the summit clash of the women's singles today. In the semi-final, Azarenka defeated Serena Williams 1-6, 6-3, 6-3 and smashed Serena's hope for the 24th Grand Slam singles title. In another semi-final, Naomi Osaka of Japan beat American Jennifer Brady 7-6, 3-6, 6-3.
Now let us take a look at the weather update for today. National capital Delhi will have partly cloudy sky. The minimum temperature recorded was 26 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be 37 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. The minimum temperature recorded was 26 degrees Celsius and maximum will be 33 degrees Celsius. Chennai will have generally cloudy sky. The minimum was 26 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be 34 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will see generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The minimum temperature was 28 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be 33 degrees Celsius. On to the north, Jammu will have mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was 25 degrees Celsius and maximum will be 36 degrees Celsius. Srinagar will also have mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was 13 degrees Celsius and maximum will be 30 degrees Celsius. Leh will also see mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was 12 degrees Celsius and maximum will be 26 degrees Celsius. Gilgit will have mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was 13 degrees Celsius and maximum will be 32 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad will see mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was 18 degrees Celsius and maximum will be 36 degrees Celsius.
The country's foreign exchange reserves rose by $582 million to reach an all-time high of $542.013 billion in the week ending September 4. In the reporting week, the foreign currency assets, a major component of the overall reserves, increased by $269 million to $498.362 billion. The gold reserves rose by $321 million in the reporting week to $37.521 billion. The special drawing rights with the International Monetary Fund marginally increased by $2 million to $1.482 billion.
Bahrain has become the latest Arab nation to agree to normalize ties with Israel as part of a broader diplomatic push by US President Donald Trump and his administration to fully integrate the Jewish state into the Middle East. He announced the agreement last night following a three-way phone call he had with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Bahrain's King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. The three leaders also issued a brief 6-paragraph joint statement attesting to the deal. Mr. Trump said it is another historic breakthrough. The announcement on the 19th anniversary of the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks came less than a week before Trump hosts a White House ceremony to mark the establishment of full relations between Israel and the United Arab Emirates.
The Tamil Nadu government has embarked on a program to provide laptops to village administrative officers who work at grassroots levels. Inaugurating the novel initiative at Nagapattinam, the State Handlooms Minister O.S. Manian said that the effectiveness and efficiency of administration will increase manifold by this new program. He pointed out that the workings of e-Sevai centers in rural areas will be linked with the village administration section to ensure seamless delivery of services.
Telangana Assembly has passed various bills to bring reforms in the state's revenue department by reducing human interface for land transactions. The government has scrapped the posts of village revenue officers, VROs, and village revenue assistants, VRAs. After enactment, record of rights relating to lands will be maintained in electronic form in Telangana Land Records Management System for enforcing hassle-free revenue administration in the state.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. India and China have arrived at a 5-point plan to resolve the current military standoff in eastern Ladakh is the story that gets top mention in most of the papers this morning. India-China reach 5-point plan to end LAC standoff, leads the statesman. On the BVIP Augusta Westland chopper scam, the Economic Times writes, CBI seeks not to prosecute former CAG S.K. Sharma. Key changes boost to Team Rahul as Congress rejigs panels, informs Hindustan Times. It's RJD versus JDU for Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman election, states the Pioneer, adding, JDU's Harivansh is pitted against opposition-backed RJD's Manoj Jha. The Tribune quotes the centre telling the states, do not block medical oxygen supply. 24 candidates score 100 percentile after turbulent JEE main exam, reports the Times of India. And finally, the Indian Express quotes the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, at the National Education Policy NEP meet as saying, mark sheet shouldn't be pressure sheet or prestige sheet.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate 1.75 lakh houses built under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Grameen in Madhya Pradesh today. National Testing Agency announces results of Jee Main in a record time of just 4 days. Jammu and Kashmir government announces universal health insurance scheme for all residents of Union Territory. Maharashtra government issues guidelines for hotels to resume operations at full capacity. India and US review progress in bilateral ties in defense, security and foreign policy areas. And in tennis, Alexander Zverev of Germany enters the US Open men's singles final. And for details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that we end the morning news. Have a nice day.